I reached Arkham at nightfall. As my horse Providence crested the west ridge, I witnessed a chilling scene, and the purpose of this fool's errand became clear. Towering over the mansion stood a sacrificial wicker man, crudely fashioned. Even at a distance, I could make out the mob and the flailing figure of a woman in an ivory gown trussed and borne on her shoulders. A jury of the great and good of Arkham Town had already pronounced judgment. Their intent was plain. Lenora was to be burned as a witch. I rode with haste. As I rode, a cacophony of jeers and cries, and such screaming reached my ears, and I grimly observed that the good Christian folk of Arkham Town have not entirely abandoned their pagan roots. How quickly man will revert to superstition in dealing with matters he does not understand. I prayed for help to any god that would listen, but it was not our Lord that answered. I could not say what fate befell that mob, only that their shouting and jeering turned to screams, and then a strange, inhuman moaning that chilled my blood. In that garden, last night, I did bear witness to a succession of events I can scarcely believe, though they did happen. Before the wicker man stood a masked brute, drawn straight from the pages of some lurid penny dreadful, and in her own voice, Lenora cried out to me. And then, in a ghastly parody of life, that rough-hewn effigy did begin to move, groaning and creaking like the gates of hell. The brute began to scale that tumble-down colossus, and with inhuman strength did he tear apart the wicker man and set Lenora free. I used my talents only to serve mankind. My reward is ruination. So be it. All that remains of my wife are memories, and her wedding ring. In time, both will tarnish. Science has failed me. Humanity is a luxury I can no longer afford. I shall put my faith in older gods. I will tear down the gates of heaven to find you, Lenora, and I shall reach them on a stairway built from the stacked corpses of the good people of Arkham. And the body of her masked executioner shall form the final step. From the Journal of Dr. Henry West, Arkham. All is not lost. There are greater forces in the universe than science and so-called reason. In my researches into the obscure arcana buried away in the furthest corners of human learning, I have come across hints of them many times before. Always I dismissed them as superstitious nonsense, but no more. Artificially induced longevity of my own lifespan, the reanimation of dead matter, gross surgical alterations of human form, all these things would be dismissed as impossible. And yet all these things I know to be possible. The secrets are there if you know where to look. To find them, you need wealth, a great deal of wealth, and decades in patient searching. Fortunately, I had both in abundance. I traveled the world. I filled my home with curios and books, most of them useless, but some of them would provide me with what I needed. From the Journal of Dr. Henry West,
Peru, 1923.
The world is filled with secret voices. They talk to us from ancient books, from artifacts stolen from tombs, from the hieroglyphics carved into the walls of lost and secret temples. I listen to them all. Finally, after decades of waiting, I found the right one to unlock the knowledge I sought.
From the Journal of Dr. Henry West, en route, 1925. The Southern Americas have proven to be fertile grounds for my research, and we set sail from Tulum, well laden with the arcane relics of religions long dead. I sense I'm being steered by some invisible force, more powerful than the wind and the tides. 2 days ago, just north of Puerto Rico, and in an unnatural fog, the ship was dashed against the rocks and wrecked. I awoke on the shores of this lonely atoll. Where? I cannot say. The constellations in the night sky are not those I learned as a child. It is a strange place, desolate, eerie, like home. It would seem that I am the solitary survivor of the wreck, yet I am not alone here. Even now, in the darkness, I hear that dreadful, ceaseless chant. La, la, Cthulhu, Fatagan. Periodically, the island is ravaged by fierce storms. In the days that follow, seafarers from eras long past are washed ashore, while the wreckage of flying machines from some distant future lies strewn across the landscape. In this place, yesterday, tomorrow, and forever after exist together in the here and now. At sites throughout the island, the air crackles with an unknowable energy, jagged as broken glass. It is in these places that the fabric of reality has worn most thin. But worn thin by what? From cannibalized mechanical parts, I have devised a system of relays stretching across this island with a mind to harnessing this energy, perhaps to exploit the unique properties of this place for my own ends. No doubt this climate is treacherous, yet those marooned here face more immediate dangers. The island's inhabitants hunt them down tirelessly, with grim delight. With each sacrifice, my instruments measure a surge of some dark power. Those that evade capture are slowly changed, corrupted. I alone am spared. I have penetrated the inner sanctum of the Thule Temple. At its center stands a golden sarcophagus, Aztec in origin, radiant, glorious. It seems strangely familiar, as if from a dream of long ago. It intrigues me. One could say it calls to me. I should like to study it further. This day, I have made contact with the island's indigenous inhabitants. It is as if I had been expected. They are men of the sea, slimy, grotesque. Once, perhaps, they were human. The gods that came to my aid the night Lenora died are known to these creatures. They are their masters. At last, I shall learn their name.
The dead possess a hidden energy. A necrotic power, or necroenergy, is released at the moment of death and can be harnessed by those with the power to see it. The masters feed on it. Death is the source of their nourishment.
From the Journal of Dr. Henry West, 1930. Doorways. Everywhere, doorways, between here, there, and perhaps the hereafter. I travel freely now, unencumbered by such trivial concepts as time and distance. I channel limitless energy through these portals directly to West Mansion, and so my research continues.